The Bible doesn't leave heaven to our imagination. It doesn't ask us to guess or hope or invent what's on the other side. It shows us, not through fantasy but through revelation. When the Apostle John was exiled to the island of Patmos, cut off from the world and forgotten by men, heaven remembered him. And in a moment that would change everything, John writes, "I looked, and behold, a door was opened in heaven." This wasn't a metaphor. This wasn't poetry. This was real. John saw into the realm we all long for, the place we speak about at funerals and whisper about in fear. And what he saw wasn't what most people expect. There were no clouds, no harps, no distant peace. It was loud. It was bright. It was shaking with glory. He saw a throne, and around that throne living creatures that never stopped crying, "Holy, holy, holy." He saw elders fall down in worship. He saw fire and crystal and lightning. He saw power. He saw purity. And at the center of it all, he saw the Lamb. That's the first thing you'll see when you walk through that door. Not an angel, not a loved one, not a gate. A lamb, standing as though slain but alive, bearing the marks of sacrifice but crowned with all authority, because heaven is not centered around us, it's centered around him. When John looked, he didn't just see. He heard. He heard voices like rushing waters. He heard a song that only the redeemed could sing. He heard praise that didn't need music to be beautiful. The sound of worship in heaven is unlike anything on earth, not just because of the noise, but because of the purity. There was no pride in it, no performance, only adoration, the kind that doesn't ask for anything in return, the kind that flows out of one truth: the Lamb is worthy. Heaven has been worshiping long before we arrived, and when that door opens for us, we won't enter to be seen, we'll enter to behold. And the first thing we'll see is the reason we got there. We'll see Jesus. The Lamb is not just present in heaven. He is the center of it. Every voice, every song, every movement in the throne room orbits around him. The angels cry out not because they're commanded, but because they can't help it. The elders fall down not out of duty, but out of overwhelming glory. And when the redeemed enter, when those who were once lost step through that door, their eyes go straight to him. There's no confusion. No one asks who he is. No one looks away. No one competes for attention, because when you see the Lamb, everything else fades. The scars in his hands still shine. The wound in his side still speaks. But he does not weep. He reigns. This is what John saw, a Lamb who had been slain yet stood. The paradox of victory through suffering, power through humility, glory through a cross. And everyone there knew he is the reason they are there. Not their righteousness, not their performance, not their knowledge or effort or prayers. Only him. And what's more powerful is that he is not silent. He leads the worship. He receives it and directs it. His presence doesn't just inspire praise, it demands it. Because in the presence of that kind of holiness, there is no room for distraction. The Lamb takes center stage not because heaven needs a focus, but because there is no other option. And when you see him, you will understand something you could never fully grasp on earth: just how much it cost for you to enter that door. Every step he took, every drop he shed, every breath he gave on the cross was leading to this moment, where you would finally see him, face to face, without shame. This is not a general God. This is not an abstract idea. This is Jesus. And when the door to heaven opens, he is what you'll see first. He is what you'll fall before. He is what will silence every earthly thought. And in that silence, the only sound will be worship. Unending, unshakable, undivided. Because heaven doesn't begin with reward. It begins with reverence. The Lamb is the first thing you'll see and the most important, but he is not alone. As John's vision continues, he sees something astonishing. Surrounding the Lamb are multitudes, not angels, not creatures, people, a great company that no one could number, from every nation, every tribe, every language. And they're not watching, they're singing. They don't stand at a distance. They're not silent. They are clothed in white, holding palm branches, crying out with one voice, "Salvation belongs to our God who sits on the throne and to the Lamb." This is the second thing you'll see when you walk through heaven's door: the redeemed. Not perfect people, not famous saints, not spiritual elites, people who were once broken, once addicted, once forgotten, people who suffered, people who struggled, people who lost battles on earth but clung to grace. And now they stand victorious, not because they conquered, but because Christ did. And what's most beautiful about them is not just where they are, but what they've become. Scripture says they follow the Lamb wherever he goes. That means they aren't just forgiven, they're transformed. Their lives no longer revolve around their past, but around the one who rescued them. There is no pride in their song, no self-congratulation, only gratitude, only glory to God, because every person in that multitude knows exactly why they're there, not because they got everything right, but because mercy followed them. You might not recognize their faces, you might not know their stories, but you'll feel it, the unity, the worship, the awe, not of themselves, but of the Lamb who brought them there. And when you see them, that vast, glorious, undeserving family, you'll realize something even deeper. You're one of them. Not a guest, not a visitor, not a spectator. You belong there. And every voice, including yours, will rise in a song that never ends. The redeemed will not be singing a song they learned on earth. They will be singing a new song, one that only they can sing, not because of melody or skill, but because of what they've lived through and who they've trusted. The song of the redeemed is not taught, it's born. Born out of pain, rescued by grace, lifted by mercy, and sealed by love. John says no one else could learn that song except those who had been purchased from the earth. That tells us something important. What qualifies you to worship in heaven is not your religious background. It's not your knowledge or your position. It's whether or not you've been bought with the blood of the Lamb. This is what makes heaven holy, not just the presence of God, but the purity of worship. No mixed motives, no distractions, no performance. Every word sung there is true because it flows from hearts that have been made new. And what holds all of this together, the Lamb and the redeemed, is not silence, it's sound. Worship in heaven is not quiet. It is described as like the roar of many waters, like the sound of loud thunder. It shakes, it moves, it fills everything. We live in a world where worship is often filtered through preference, lights, volume, tempo, atmosphere. But in heaven, worship is not designed around you. It's drawn out of you. Because the moment you see Him, nothing will matter except giving Him glory. You won't be worried about the person next to you. You won't be thinking about what people think of your voice. You will sing because you're overwhelmed. Because you're home. Because the one who saved you is standing before you, alive. And when you add your voice to that great multitude, you'll realize something else. You were made for this. Every moment of worship on earth was just a shadow, a preparation, a rehearsal. But here it's real, and it never ends. Worship in heaven is not an event, it is the environment. It is not something that starts and stops. It's not scheduled. It is constant, living, surrounding, consuming. And no one there gets tired of it. No one looks at the time. No one asks for a break. Because every moment in heaven is a fresh revelation of the Lamb's worth. The redeemed don't sing out of routine. They sing because they remember what they were and they see who He is. Their praise rises not from habit but from memory, the memory of mercy, of being saved, cleansed, carried, and crowned. And in the presence of that kind of grace, worship is the only right response. That's the third thing you'll see when you walk through heaven's door, unending praise. Not just beautiful sound, but unstoppable adoration. The worship of heaven never weakens. It doesn't run out. It is fueled by the eternal glory of God and the unshakable victory of Christ. John tells us that in the center of all this worship is a throne, and on the throne is not a force or a light or an idea, but a person. The one who created all things and for whom all things exist. And the closer you get to that throne, the more everything else loses meaning. No crown matters. No name matters. No past, no pain, no pride, only the Lamb. The elders cast their crowns before Him. The angels cover their faces. The saints fall in reverence. No one in heaven fights for position. No one compares themselves. No one looks down on anyone else. All eyes are fixed on one. And when you walk through that door, you will know in an instant this is not about you. It never was. It's about the one who loved you before you knew His name. The one who gave His life so you could stand there and sing. He is the center. He is the glory. He is the song. And He will be forever. Heaven's worship is not shaped by personality or preference. It's shaped by revelation. Everyone in heaven has seen something. Something that changed them. Something that silenced excuses, crushed pride, and ignited praise. They've seen the Lamb and they've seen what He's done. That's why no one holds back. They remember the cross. They remember the blood. They remember the price that was paid. And in that remembrance, their worship takes flight. It's not shallow. It's not polite. It's full. It's fierce. It's honest. Because nothing in them doubts His worth. And nothing about them wants to be anywhere else. You see, worship in heaven is not a practice, it's a response. It's the natural overflow of hearts that have been transformed. It's not coaxed or led, it explodes. Because the deeper the love, the louder the praise, the greater the rescue, the higher the song. That's why only the redeemed can sing this song. The angels may join in, the elders may cry out, but only those who were once bound in sin and now stand free can sing it with tears of joy in their eyes. And that moment, when you add your voice, will be like nothing you've ever known. Because for the first time in your existence, you will worship without fear, without distraction, without flesh. You will worship in fullness, with clarity, with purpose, and you won't have to ask what to say. Your soul will already know. Your voice will rise not because you remember the words, but because you remember the mercy that carried you to this place, the mercy that brought you through every fire, the mercy that stood when you fell. That's what heaven sounds like. Not noise, but response. One of the most powerful truths about heaven is that it doesn't erase your story, it completes it. When the door opens, you won't forget what you went through on earth. You'll remember it clearly, but without shame, without pain, without the weight that used to crush you. You'll see every scar differently. You'll understand every unanswered prayer. You'll trace every detour and realize that all of it was leading here, to this moment, to this place, to this person. That's why worship in heaven is so pure. Because it's informed. It's personal. It's rooted in real redemption. Everyone in heaven was once hopeless. Everyone there needed grace. No one earned their seat. And that's what makes the worship so powerful. It's not based on performance, it's built on mercy. And when you're standing among the redeemed, seeing the Lamb, hearing the song, overwhelmed by the throne, you'll realize something you maybe never believed on earth. You were always meant to be here. Not as a visitor, not as a stranger, but as a citizen of this kingdom. Heaven isn't just a reward for endurance, it's the fulfillment of a promise, a place prepared, a place reserved, a place purchased by the blood of Christ. You won't need to wonder if you belong. You'll know, because the one on the throne, the Lamb at the center, is the one who called you by name. And when that door opens, you won't enter wondering if you'll be welcomed. You'll walk in worshiping, because you know the one who opened it. Some people imagine heaven as a distant, still place, quiet, glowing, far away, but the Bible gives us a different picture. Heaven is not a place of passive rest. It is a place of active, unfiltered glory. And when that door opens, what you'll feel first is not relief, it's reverence. Because what makes heaven so overwhelming isn't just what you see, it's who is there. The Lamb, the redeemed, the throne, the song, all of it is real, all of it is waiting. You'll see faces, some familiar, some not, but all changed. You'll hear voices, some loud, some broken, some trembling, but all singing the same truth. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain. No one will boast. No one will compare. No one will pretend. And maybe, for the first time, you'll understand what it means to truly belong. Not because of what you've done, but because of who He is. That's what binds heaven together, not memory or merit, but mercy. Every heart there beats for one name. Every knee bows to one King. And the beauty is, you won't want anything else. No distraction, no fear, no question. Just clarity, just worship, just Jesus. You won't need a reason to lift your voice. The Lamb will be enough. The song will rise without effort. The joy will overflow without warning, and it will never grow old. That's the promise of heaven, not just life without pain, but life with Him. Not just freedom from sin, but fullness of glory. And the door to that place is already open. It stands open even now, not to the strong, but to the surrendered. Not to the proud, but to the washed. Not to the religious, but to the redeemed. And when you see it, when your time comes, what you'll see is not something strange or cold. You'll see what you were made for. You'll see home. You won't carry your burdens through that door. You won't drag your shame behind you. Everything heavy, everything dark, everything unfinished, it will stay behind. Because what waits for you in heaven is not just peace, it's perfection. When the door opens, you will finally be whole. Not because you've arrived, but because He has made you ready. Every part of you that doubted, feared, failed will fall silent in His presence. And the only thing you'll feel is worship. There will be no need to strive, no pressure to perform, no more questions like, am I enough, or have I done enough? You'll know the answer without asking. The one on the throne made you worthy. The one in the center called you by name. The one with scars in his hands will reach out and you'll know you're his. That's what heaven is, not just a place, a person. The Lamb. He's what makes the door worth walking through. He's what makes eternity something to long for, not fear. And when you finally see him, every longing you've ever had will find its end in his eyes. You won't ask what's next. You'll know this is it. Worship will rise, not as an act, but as your nature. You won't need to be told to praise. You won't need a reason to rejoice. The reason will be standing right in front of you. And the song, the same one sung by the great multitude, will rise from your mouth too, because now you see, now you understand, now you're home. The Lamb, the redeemed, the worship, these are not ideas. They are realities. Real people, real glory, real joy. Waiting on the other side of a real door. And when that door opens for you, it won't be an accident. It won't be a surprise. It will be the fulfillment of everything God has promised. Not because you earned it, but because the Lamb purchased it. Heaven is not the reward for a good life. It is the destination of a redeemed one. And the moment you step through that door, you'll see what faith believed all along, that Jesus really is enough. You won't need another miracle. You won't long for another answer. You won't carry another fear. Because everything you've ever needed will be standing before you, alive, glorious, reigning. The Lamb who was slain. The King who is worthy. The one who opened the door. And if this truth speaks to your heart, don't walk away unchanged. Let it shape how you live. Let it shift how you worship. Let it stir your soul. And if your spirit longs for more reminders like this, more truth that lifts your eyes above the noise, more words that draw your heart back to eternity, then stay close. Subscribe, not just to hear more, but to be reminded of what's already waiting. The door is open, and what's beyond it is more beautiful than we can imagine.